Hello everyone, I am Richard Mitchell, the Reviews Content Director here at Joystick, and with me I have Mr. Thomas Schulenberg, our weekend editor.
Hello. So Richard, we got back from GDC and we played a little something called Fantasia.
Yes, we did. We played the harmonics version of Fantasia, and that's important.
Just maybe.
So this was kind of a weird project in that it is sort of tackling Disney's Fantasia in a very harmonics way. It's a rhythm game. It's sort of a music creator. It's a lot of different things. And neither one of us had played it before GDC this year.
Right. I'm like going into it, I didn't know that it was anything more than Disney music or just, something from the Fantasia movie. But there's stuff in there. There's Lord, there's the White Stripes, there's David Bowie.
There's some Nicki Minaj in there. Since you hadn't really played it and didn't know what to expect, if you had to describe it to someone, what would you tell them?
I would tell them just because you know a song doesn't mean that you know the song in Fantasia in terms of sound and kind of song progression. If I had to take it on from a gameplay perspective, I would say it's Dance Central, but you're Mickey Mouse.
Right, so the design concept is to make you feel like Mickey from Fantasia when he puts on the wizard's hat and he starts sort of conducting the universe, right?
Right.
And you mentioned it feels kind of like Dance Central, except, you're basically just using your hands to match up these prompts. But what's interesting is you can really use your hands and your arms in any way that you want. It's not really very prescribed.
Mm-hmm. With most notes, there's a gesture attributed to each one. So you kind of like slash upwards or diagonally. And yeah, you just need your hand. But a lot of the times I found myself like my full body was moving left or my full body was moving right. So I guess that's where I was getting the Dance Central vibe from.
Well, I think we watched some of the harmonics employees actually play it, and what's interesting is they've been playing it for so long, it looked like choreography. So one of the key mechanics in the game, and this is what keeps all the music fresh, is the mix switcher. As you're playing the song, the player who's doing better gets to activate the mix switcher. Push your hand in, and then you swipe it down to whatever you want to select, and this changes the orchestration. So swiping up might make it more of an orchestral sound with violins and those kinds of instruments. And swiping down and to the left might make it a chiptune song. And eventually, like, all these different styles are being incorporated, but somehow they all fit together. And I don't know how they made that happen, but it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and it kind of struck me as like an elevation of Rock Band Blitz, where you would pick a certain track and play that, and that part of the song would be elevated up above the rest so that you could hear it better. And as you pick which section you want to strengthen throughout the song, that kind of carries the song's progression towards that one instrument.
What's fun about that is that it is a competition. So whoever gets that mix switcher gets to choose what direction they want to take the song. So if there's one kind of music that you prefer and the other person prefers a different one, you have this kind of fun tug of war going on. So, you really do feel like you're sort of influencing the music and creating it. You get to change up the different kinds of instruments. Like even in the middle of the song, you can make it more electronic. Or in one of the songs we played, you can even make it more chiptune or more orchestral. In certain parts of the songs, we could actually create solos together.
Right, so like a solo will be split in two and each player will make half of it. And then that solo will be integrated back into the actual music. And when you hear that, you think, okay, that's going to sound pretty clunky. And it's kind of astounding how well harmonics mixes that back into the original track. It doesn't really sound out of place. It just sounds cool.
And just the ways in which that you create these solos and things like that are very intuitive. And you get it within just like a second. It's not like you need a lot of instructions. We watched someone play one time, and then we stood up and we were playing.
Right. And I feel like that's a good contrast from Dance Central, where you're, for the most part, you're learning dances step by step. If you really want to do well, you break it down, you learn a dance throughout a 45-minute period. And with Fantasia, it's very much, here's the concept, you get it, now try to do it.
And beyond that, the game is about more than just the songs themselves. You have these levels that have all these activities where you're also sort of creating music. And the music that you made starts to become part of the world. And that's like the whole concept, is like this world is made of music. Do you think like this would appeal to people who maybe don't play a lot of games normally?
I think this is kind of the Rock Band situation. Do you like music? Or do you like Disney? Yes? Okay, you'll like this. I don't think there's a huge barrier of entry. I think it's the pure interest. And I think anybody that has that can really just go with it. So, It's obvious that we kind of had a good time with it, but with 30 plus songs, do you feel like it would be something that would eventually grow thin?
I'd like to hope that with Harmonix, they have a pretty good pedigree for delivering DLC. And they told us that, DLC is definitely something they're thinking about, but it could wear out over time. But I mean, right now, I just kind of want to play it again.
Honestly, that's pretty much how I feel too. Oh yeah, it's made of more than music. Do you recall that cabin that grew legs suddenly and just kind of sauntered off into the distance?
There was the Baba Yaga hut that grew chicken legs, and it started dancing to Seven Nation Army.